Hi guys, still I'm Delson Gratius. I want to share out something that is very mystical, that needs great power, the power of the Holy Spirit to be broken down in order for somebody to understand it. But with time, I hope my friends will go on picking it. Very many people have complained about worldly dictators, wealthy men who are taking over the world and are not being punished at all. And they're like, when will that time come? And they are told, like God will be there. But then one thing that I read, it started saying, and God looked down. He saw that those who are evil and are not supposed to live longer and are supposed to live in a bad situation are rich and are living longer. And then there was those who are seeking him genuinely are dying poor and at an early age. So the devil put in more energy, is stealing the life force from genuine God seekers and adding it unto the devil worshippers. And I call on for God's children to put in more and more fasting, praying to attain greatest divine levels that can't be broken. My main intention today is we have people who are called by God, and at first that's God's engine into someone. God creates someone with a call, but the devil has never created, he has never given life, he's a liar. He just builds onto what God has created, and he has tempted millions to go to him, and then when they realize they can't, and then the other thing is we have to pray for the Holy Spirit to help us to be groomed uprightly. And nevertheless, God is not distant and angry, but is a complete expression of love to we the humans, and is creating more millions of people who will have the same calls. And we should pray that when those people attend to their calls and attain highest level degrees in divine ability, they shouldn't be tempted by the devil. And then a single one successful person who is almost reaching those levels of Elijah, of Moses, can change the whole continent, can be a continental threat to the darker kingdom. So we just urge on that. And then the other, sin is dissolving unattended to and mysteriously. Those people who have power and money have killed millions, and then their cases have just dissolved even in court, and they are untouchable. So we too have to go and have an option to the Holy Mary, and Jesus Christ has our only way to go. And then once those people were once genuine God seekers, but after attaining power, they had to break off. They had to break off from God. They made up covenants that they broke, and they knew it would be very hard to align up, and they were tempted by the devil. And then option is to pray for mercy, because if they have power and money, that means those who are under are gonna suffer. And then the sin is the calling is very high, and their judgment is at most late. Those people do a lot of mess in the world, and if that country, if that district, if that village doesn't call for intercession, that person will go untouched. And that person, millions of them have only gotten a sample and have left life. God is the only one who can ever judge them, because at once they were upright and seeked God genuinely, and they were doing all what it takes, but they were messed up when they had the whole thing. So that urges us still to pray to God for those who were once serving him and misused their power, and then they are putting down the kingdom of light. Then there is that offer didn't even turn to God, but are a typical untouched. There are those people who are born, they are really born, but they didn't even attend to God, and those are the real devil worshippers. So, but still, I put light on it because they were created by God, and then the devil had to steal them. Still, we have to pray for mercy against them because they're high level sorcerers. They have, by the way, I always relate God's divine enhancement as somebody who is in forces, and you're like, if you're a colonel and you're seeking God genuinely, there comes high level sorcerer who is the general on the other side. So it's only mercy that can help you and be added unto your prayers to overcome his attack. That's why we still have to rely on intercession, praying, using the power, using the wealth of the saints that was given to us, the power in Jesus Christ, him being the way, the truth, and life, and his precious water, washing our souls, and his precious blood, breaking all the covenants, codes, covenants, and altars of the devil, and healing our souls. And then the other thing is, others are not pure humans. Jesus too listed that at one time back, and it's like some people will never change, that will leave the world like that. He meant others are crosses, they're not full human beings, and they are amidst us. That project started up some time ago. They are amidst us, and you can't realize them. That's why you complain and you're like, how can a human do such a thing? It wasn't like that. So very many preachers have preached about that, and it's like, humans are going. Humans were not like this. They are mistaking the hybrids amidst the human beings because they have taken on the human body, and they are very hard to identify. That's why they say the world is at its peak. There are most of them who are doing those blasphemies are hybrids. And then the other thing is only mercy, seeking God to attain higher divine levels. When we attain higher divine levels in the era whereby the dark kingdom, by the way, the dark kingdom thinks it's going to take over the world, but they still have a chance if we dedicate ourselves to God, having intercession centers, dedicating, starting with we ourselves, we can gain power, and then still make the light at a time where the dark things is going to take us down. So I remain Gratius, and I'll be sharing more and more as I seek God genuinely.